Let me start this video off, if I may, with Carmen Yorda. Bear with me, please. For those of you unaware, was a racing driver who competed in series such as Formula 3 and GP3 in the 2010s. She was also signed to the Lotus Formula 1 team as a development driver from 2015 to 2016. To the untrained eye of the average earthling, this would be considered a fantastic feat, and a key step forward to helping get female drivers back onto the Formula 1 grid. But it wasn't quite that way. I'll explain this in another video because I'm just going to go off on a tangent here trying to explain what this was all about. But the point is that in 2015, Yorda voiced her approval of a separate championship for women, and this is what she said.
It's not fair that women have to compete in the same championship as men, because we're never going to become world champion, and I think that women deserve that chance.
Oh yeah, Carmen? You don't think women can be competitive on the main stage, huh? Well, I'd like to introduce you to Michele Mouton. Mouton, for those of you unaware, is a former rally driver from France who competed in the World Rally Championship from 1974 to 1986. She was lauded by the likes of Sir Stirling Moss and Niki Lauda, two of the most respected people in motor racing. Full stop. And it's not without reason, because Mouton was incredible. Mouton was born in Grasse, France in 1951. She was first introduced to the concept of racing cars at 14 years old, although her first proper foray into rallying came in 1973 not as a driver, but as a co-driver. It was then her father who suggested that maybe she should get behind the wheel of a car, cause, you know, live your life through your kids, right? After competing in regional events throughout France in 1973, Mouton made a World Rally Championship debut in 1974, finishing 12th on the Tour de Corse. Naturally, men throughout the paddock could not cope with the concept of a woman beating them in a car.
Oh, how I say, incredulous.
Rumours abound Mouton was running an illegal engine, but sure enough, it was perfectly legal. She was later crowned the French champion and European ladies champion, and by now some of you anoraks will be saying,
"Oh, she's not a racing driver, she's a rally driver."
Well, to answer that criticism, Mouton competed in the 24-hour of Le Mans, in the 2-litre prototype category with Christine DACREMONT and Marion forming an all-female lineup in 1975. And you can curb your prejudices because they won their class. Mouton's performances in the rain were vital to making this happen, yet elected not to pursue a career on the closed circuit. Nonetheless, her results attracted attention from the likes of Alf and Fiat France. She achieved a moderate level of success with Fiat on the world stage from 1977 to 1979. However, in 1980, Audi Sports signed her to the WRC program for the 1981 season. Now, as you could imagine, there was a fair amount of criticism with regards to her signing. This, coupled with her co-driver being Fabrizio Pons, some of the comments being thrown around almost eradicated any faith one would have had in humanity. But this all changed at Rally Portugal, where Mouton won 7 stages and finished 4th overall, despite experiencing electrical gremlins throughout the rally. She also performed strongly in Greece and in Finland, but the real breakthrough came in San Remo. 1981 World Rally Champion Ari Vatanen proclaimed,
"Never can, nor will I lose to a woman."
Well, guess what? Mouton and Pons took their first rally win, beating out their male rivals and shutting up the critics. And I bet that hurt them, because trust me, I know. And it was the highlight of what was a decent first year in the top flight of rallying. And certainly when you consider that she was up against some genuine legends of the rally scene, including Stig Blomqvist, Ari Vatanen, Henri Toivonen, and Hannu Mikkola. Of course, she didn't contest the full season, but her first full season came in 1982, and this would be the year when Mouton would really make her presence felt. The first round was at the renowned Monte Carlo rally. Mouton was performing as well as you would imagine, and had set the fastest time on the Col de Torini stage. But then, on the 12th stage, she slid off the road and out of the rally. The crash concussed Pons, while Mouton injured her knee. But this didn't prevent her from making her debut in the Swedish rally. She was running 3rd and performing well, before crashing into Hannu Mikkola's grief-stricken car, and eventually finished the rally in 5th place. These two rallies didn't really curb theories that Mouton was perhaps unable to cut it with the big boys. But she put those theories to rest at the next round in Portugal. Mouton took 18 stage wins and would win the rally outright, which immediately bolstered her up to 2nd place in the standings, just behind 1980 world champion Volta Roll. She would miss the Safari rally, but would make her return at the Tour de Corse in France. However, she wasn't able to match the pace of the frontrunners and finished in 7th place. But crucially, Rule didn't score that much more points either. Then came Greece. These stages are known to be real car breakers. Pace is one thing in this rally, getting it to the finish is another deal. Rule had won the rally twice previously, but he didn't win this one. Mouton took the win ahead of Rule and Toivonen, and at that stage was the only driver to have won 2 rallies that season. In the overall standings, she closed the gap to Rule to just 20 points, even after missing the round in Kenya earlier that year. And in the next round in New Zealand, Mouton was battling for the lead of the rally with Rule and Michele. However, she retired due to a broken oil pump, and the win instead went to 1979 world champion Bjorn Valdegaard. This put Mouton 32 points behind Rule, but in the next round in Brazil, Mouton would rebound by winning what was an arduous rally. She retired from the next round in Finland after incurring damage from a jump, and then finished second in San Remo to Rule. Initially, Audi were not prepared to attend the African rallies in Kenya and Cote d'Ivoire, but given how close Mouton was to Rule in the standings, they needed to attend the Rally Cote d'Ivoire if they were to have any realistic chance of winning the title. There was something else too. Just before the rally started, Mouton received news that her father had just passed away from cancer back in Nice. His last wish was that Mouton start the rally. And this clearly gave Mouton some drive because by the end of the first day, she was 8 minutes ahead of Michele and almost half an hour ahead of Rule. And this was crucial, because if Mouton can win the rally, Rule's lead in the standings would be reduced to just 2 points going into the final round. The temperatures of the rally were extreme, with the cabin temperature reaching 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which is barely acceptable for people being cremated. However, while the drivers were feeling the pinch, the cars also were struggling to cope. Mouton began experiencing mechanical issues, including transmission problems that cost her 25 minutes, and a complete fuel ingestion change on the last day. These issues gave Rule and his Toyota comrades an opportunity to catch up, and then, disaster. Mouton rolled her Quattro, which saw an end to her rally. Rule cruised through to take the win and the championship with it. And he was happy about this, because earlier on, he stated that he would have been fine if he lost the championship to Michele, but not to Mouton, saying that this is not because I doubt her capabilities as a driver, but because she is a woman. So, now that we established that Rule was one of the greatest rally drivers of all time but still yet to prove himself as a human being, all that was left was the final round in Britain. Mouton held off Toivonen to take second in the rally behind Michele, and thus secured second overall in the drivers' standings, and also gave Audi their first manufacturer's world title. And despite losing to this Nobel Prize winner, Mouton was awarded the International Rally Driver of the Year award at the Autosport Awards Gala. Rule also later conceded that Mouton had deserved her victories, and it was only through sheer luck that Rule had won the title. Mouton would compete in the WRC for a further 4 years, although her last full-time campaign was in 1983. Constant mechanical failures marred her season, and eventually retired from rallying altogether in 1986 to focus on her family. She was made Knight of the Legion of Honor in 2011, which is the highest French Order of Merit for civil rights, and was inducted into the Rally Hall of Fame by Carlos Sainz in 2012. She was also involved in the FIA's Women and Motorsport Commission, which will be explained by fellow YouTuber Keira Megan.
Now, the Women in Motorsport Commission is the biggest movement from the FIA to endorse females in motorsport so far. It was created back in 2009 with Michele Mouton, a former French rally driver and the first female to win a round of the FIA World Rally Championship as its president. Back in 2009, when the commission started, Michele said, "Women already have their place in motorsport. They have proved it. But for many years, people have asked me why there have been no women following in my footsteps. I really hope that the Commission can help answer that question and that we can attract and support women in all areas of our sport." But what is the Commission exactly? They say that it had been made to put practice, actions and events into place that will strengthen the inclusion with women in all areas of motorsport and will work closely with the FIA and also other governing bodies to promote females up into these motorsport categories. So far, since its launch in 2009, they have proven what they said by, in 2011, starting the support of the FIA CIK Trophy Academy. In 2015, they created a county rallying program for rallycross, and probably the biggest movement so far was in 2018 and 2019 when they set up the FIA Girls on Track Challenge, which was promoting young karting girls aged 13 to 18 up to F1, and also they get a chance to win a seat in the Ferrari Driver Academy. In these years, they also created the FIA Women's Driver Academy, meaning there is a place women can go to and be picked up.
In my view, the 1982 World Rally Championship is one of the more crucial seasons in the whole history of motorsport, because it demonstrated something important. It went against the opinion of the time, and more so than that, it completely disproved what Carmen Yorda would say over 30 years later. Women can't be competitive against men in motorsport? Bullshit, Carmen, because as Michele proved in 1982, they can be. Sir Sterling Moss regarded her as one of the best, Niki Lauda called her a superwoman, and frankly, praise from those two is all you need as a racing driver, no matter what your background. And her achievements should be celebrated if we are to encourage the next generation of young female drivers to come through and to reach for those seemingly unattainable heights. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider liking this video and subscribing, drop a comment below, and always remember, keep it respectful, be wholesome, don't be a manus, and as always, I'll see you all later.
Let me tell you, wanna see you fly, way up on my side, till the day I die, we're heading for the silver line. Let me tell you, wanna see you move, cause there's room for two, every day, every night. We turn up to 9-9.